Do you remember how horrified you were when you learned that Bernie Madoff swindled people out of billions of dollars and ruined the lives of countless investors? How about Ken Lay and Enron? Well, they're the ultimate bad guys in America, universally hated. I wonder what it will take before the Federal Reserve will elicit a similar response in America. The Fed should horrify every single American, because what they are currently doing makes Bernie Madoff and Enron look like petty thieves. 2 years ago, I urged Americans to study the Weimar Republic.
I urge people to read up on the Weimar Republic because it is, we're making many of the same mistakes.
Got it? Now I know liberal bloggers right now living in the basements of their moms are taking a break from, I don't know, World of Warcraft to type, oh, there goes Glenn Beck comparing, you know, Barack Obama to Hitler again. No. I'm sure you know Weimar is what preceded Hitler. I bring it up because of what caused their economic collapse in Germany. They monetized their debt. This is something that Ben Bernanke promised us he would not do.
Federal Reserve will not monetize the debt.
Okay. Will not monetize the debt. Got it. That was me showing you that months ago. I showed it last year. But then I also showed you that's exactly what we're doing, monetizing our debt. Do we have it? This happened a couple of weeks ago. Was it last week that this happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
Last Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay. Here I am. We're showing the monetization of the debt, and on that episode, I showed you the receipt, just like in Weimar. Of course, when I bring all this up, economists say, oh, that was Germany. This is America. Our economy just can't collapse like that. Yeah. And then I'm called a fearmonger. In fact, I was called the fearmonger in chief for 2009 by SCIU. And then, of course, there's stuff like this on TV.
No one pushes fear of economic collapse or gold better than Glenn Beck.
Yep, I'm the fearmonger. I'm just trying to, now get this, I'm just trying to scare you for ratings and profit. No, seriously, talking about monetization of debt and bond yields for ratings? That is brilliant. Have you seen all the spin-off shows and Treasury securities that we've inspired? Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Whenever you see a Bond TV show or monetization of debt, yeah, that was me. I've got a new series called James Bond, except there are no chicks, no guns, just people in the shadows printing worthless money. It's going to be a ratings giant. I'm talking about the monetization of debt, not for ratings. Nobody does that if they're sane. Oh, well, I left myself open for that, didn't I? I talked to you about it because it's real, and it's important to the survival of our country, and quite honestly, you and your family. That's exactly what the Fed is doing right now. I showed you the receipts. I showed them to you. Look at the receipts. It is the same number. They're $5 billion. This is the receipt, $5 billion being sold and then moving over to the Fed again. They're just moving the money around. It's a shell game, like Bernie Madoff. All right, let me show you the game being played. It's quite easy. It really is. The Fed says, we're going to sell some bonds. We're going to sell some debts. Well, they try to sell it. They've got a 7-year bond that they want to sell. So the Fed takes this bond and they sell it to the buyer. Right? After 10 days, 47% of these buyers, 47% of these buyers sell their Treasury bonds to the Fed. How does that work exactly? It's a game. It's secondary markers. Now, here are the latest numbers on who has purchased the United States debt in 2009. The amount of debt that the U.S. government would have to issue to balance the budget in 2009 is so large, over $2 trillion, that it seemed impossible for all major Treasury buyers to meet the increased demand, especially given the state of the economy. Do you want to buy basically stock in America, especially when they're just printing stock in America? Well, the buying power, nobody thought it was going to be there, yet somehow or another the debt was all bought up. So who's buying? Well, according to Sprott Asset Management, yeah, this is going to be a ratings getter, there are 3 major buyers in the first 3 quarters of 2009. The first one is foreign and international buyers. Okay, foreign and international buyers. They bought just about $700 billion of our debt. The second group, the so popular other investors. Other investors. How much did they buy? They bought about $510 billion. By the way, other investors, they only accounted for about $90 billion last year. Yeah. That's a big increase of the other investors. Then you have the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve. The Fed bought the bonds last year. They bought $286 billion. Year before that, kind of like the other investors, that's a 60% increase. Wow. So the other investors is skyrocketing. It's on pace to buy $700 billion in treasuries. That is weird, isn't it? Oddly enough, the group other investors, so loosely defined that it doesn't explain very much. Almost the perfect hiding place for the Fed. Right now, Bernie Madoff is sitting in his cell going, man, I should have got some. Why wasn't I in the Fed? I'd love to assign some motivation behind what the Fed is doing. But it looks like they're just trying to artificially inflate the value of the bonds as they monetize the debt in the process. The capital to invest this much in bonds is not there. Yet bond buying is at unprecedented levels. Does it make sense to you? Well, no, but we don't really know enough. We don't even know who owns the Fed. We don't know who exactly is scoffing up all the debt. You see, they do everything in secret. Where did I see that? Oh, yeah, no debate, and keep it in secret, and a crisis. Wow. Of course, that's just speculation, because they only answer to their private corporation pocketbooks. Not you, not me, not to the president, not to Congress. No one. Take out any piece of money out of your pocket, in the wallet, and look at it. Can you zoom in? Here, let me see if you can zoom in. Zoom in right here at the top. What does that say? Oh, yeah. See, it's not your money. It's a Federal Reserve note. That's who this is. This is not United States property. This is property of the Federal Reserve. They are the ones vouching for this. They are the ones refusing to answer questions about what's on their books. One thing we do know for sure is we don't know who's buying the bonds, but we do know that there are some of the most savvy bond investors in the world that are doing it. Who else is buying bonds? And what does it mean for you? Next.